Does aging look the same for everybody?
Aging, there are certain aspects of aging that actually do look the same. So I'll talk about cognitive aging for a moment, because one of the most common questions I get from families is some version of, is this normal? So like, I'm forgetting my keys everywhere, or I say 4 grandkids' names before I get to the one that I actually meant to call. Is this normal? Mm-hmm. And there are some expected changes as we age cognitively that actually are typical. So for example, your processing speed will slow down. Your working memory is not going to be as strong as it was. And this is why actually, if anyone goes in and takes those very lengthy neuropsychological tests, they're normed for your age. Mm-hmm. So you don't expect someone in their 90s to have the processing speed of someone in their 20s, but there's a band of what's normal in your 90s. And so if you're outside of that band, that's when someone might say, this actually, even for someone in their 90s, is pretty slow at this point. I think this warrants further testing. So there are typical changes that happen. I think what's dangerous is that sometimes people think that atypical changes are typical, and so they don't take that next step of seeking support. I've worked with many families where by the time they come to us, it's been years of confusion, anger, stress, because they don't realize that it was actually dementia. It was Alzheimer's. There was something going on because they kept chalking it up to, this is just normal aging, mom's just getting older. And they realized well into the process that no, this was actually something atypical.
Can you talk a little bit about what an atypical path might look like?
So an atypical path might look like there are the kinds of changes that are making it difficult for the person to live an independent life. And so we have certain activities of daily living, bathing, getting dressed, being able to go from place to place. We have instrumental activities of daily living, grocery shopping. And if there are changes that are happening that are making it harder for the person to take care of themselves and live independently, that's always something really important to look at. There are cognitive screeners. So a lot of times when older adults go to the doctor's office, there might be a test like the MMSE or the MoCA. These are quick screeners, though. They're not showing some of the functional changes. So I've worked with many older adults who are very intelligent, have these really impressive professional backgrounds, have a lot of cognitive reserve. So they'll go in and they're actually scoring okay on a quick screener. But when you talk to the family, they're saying things like, this is actually dangerous. Mom's been leaving the stove on. Or I was sitting in the car with my husband and his driving is getting so erratic that I'm actually worried at this point for his safety and the safety of others. Or someone's personality is changing so dramatically, there just has to be something wrong. This isn't them. The person I knew was deeply empathetic, cared what people thought, and yet here I see the same person saying these really maybe rude things or hurtful things to people. So looking at changes that are either impacting the ability to lead an independent life, to be safe, or for others around you to be safe, or really extreme mood or personality changes warrant a second look.